Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of No Lids, No Limits. I'm Kin from Canada, and I've got a very good friend, a special guest with us today. His name is Zach or Zachary. Zach, how about a quick introduction about yourself?
Thank you, Kin, for having me. I've been in manufacturing for some time. I'm in Canada as well, Vancouver. I have a background in project management. I have a background in software development as well. I did quite a lot of applied computer science courses and ended up in manufacturing for 4 years. And here I am, doing program management at the moment in EMS.
Great. Well, Zach, you and I have worked together in the past, which is how we came across each other. I've
Yeah.
always respected that you come from a very diverse background. Maybe in a nutshell, we'll just start the conversation. What is your take on how AI is today? Like, are you excited about it? Are you worried about it? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, honestly, I'm very excited because AI is solving most of the problems that took a very long time to solve, and it's also adding a level of product creativity and innovation that you are as good as your brain. That was the theme a while ago. Nowadays, just have to ask AI, and you can start something, and it can get you going. Yeah, AI is very exciting, but also on the flip side, we have some concerns about privacy, about what could go wrong. The leaks, the doors that are open when you just create a website using an AI, and you don't know how the security or there is a lot that is left for AI to do. I think a perfect situation is where you just have AI, technical expert in AI, then that way you get something that is well governed, well approved.
That's a very good perspective. One of the things that we talked about a lot on this podcast in the past was this concept, this idea that an AI is just really a smart intern to us. It's very, very quick to learn, and it's super good at what they can do. And as far as your background goes, we're starting to shift from this idea that the AI is just answering simple questions as a chatbot form, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. All these tools are now starting to shift into more of agentic functions where it can do things for you and not just answer things. As we make this shift, from your perspective as a PMP, a software developer, where does this ultimate accountability live when an autonomous agent breaks a schedule or commits a costly error to a company? Can an algorithm ever be a true project manager? As you know, you're quite accountable when you're running a project. Or is a human in a loop governance non negotiable? What is your take on that, Zach?
Honestly, that's a very good topic to discuss. And I think every organization that is hiring people, onboarding AI agents, they should talk about this. I believe that agentic AI is very helpful, but I believe we take the responsibility. Whoever is the technical expert, whoever is the IT manager, whoever is the software manager that is onboarding these tools, they must put in place a verification processes, a gating system or a governance system whereby everything that is released goes through their hands and they make sure they massage through. They have a good understanding of the backend on all the technical code. They can read the code base, know what was done. If there is a small fix that is required, then they need to fix it. And for me, in my case, I would be looking critically on understanding the flow of information, how everything is done, and the security aspect. Then, if this is done, then the sky is the limit. We can do a lot more with, agentic AI and AI in project management and in all the fields, especially.
You touch on the point about privacy, data privacy, and security. I know
Yeah.
this is something that worries everybody, every professional working with AI today. Do you think that the privacy or security issues around AI is any more serious than today's IT infrastructure? Working with our typical systems where we have our emails, our Teams or Slack or other conversations, while people using their own personal mobile phones for work purpose. How do you correlate or compare the idea of privacy security behind an AI tool versus some of these other existing tools that we already use today?
So a while ago, it was easy to have a network engineer having, a server, having things done locally. Just very few people had the ability, even have a stable Wi-Fi or have a strong laptop that is able to attack systems and knock it down. But the problem at the moment is that we have AI that can do amazing things, has unlimited potential to create damage. Now, the thing is, it has unlimited potential to create and innovate and be positively useful. But the opposite is also true. When it's used as a tool of war, as a tool to penetrate systems, it's equally powerful. We are equally safe because you can use AI to strengthen security gaps that existed in our systems and potentially make them scalable and very good for the future. But the problem is that the other side of the bridge is also well equipped to create strong attacks. So it's a balancing system, it's a balancing act. And I believe all the people that are in this space, they need to be front footed and equally aware and ahead of all these people that could have evil thoughts or ideas, so that they put gating system plans in place so that they make our systems secure and safe, pertaining privacy.
So certainly the AI tools can work very fast, very effective at, especially the AI agents. I've seen demonstrations of how quickly you can write some source code and have it run pretty quickly. But here's an interesting idea that I think back in many years ago, I remember reading this one comic book, was the idea that if you give an infinite number of monkeys each a typewriter and you ask them to randomly type what they wish to type, because you have an infinite group of monkeys all randomly typing, the idea is that some of those monkeys, a very, very small percentage, might actually produce a piece of prose that matches that of, let's say, Shakespeare, Dickens, or some, famous piece of, written work. So this idea that the AI works really quickly and can potentially, let's just say, hack into systems, breach data barriers, break through guardrails. If we compare that to simply the Chinese hackers or Russian hackers as an example, I'm not to say that they are necessarily hackers, but because those are big countries. India, we'll use India and China, biggest countries in the world.
Yeah.
If you give every one of them, the citizens of China and every citizen of India, some computer that their job is to go hack into something, do you think that's going to be kind of equivalent to AI just working really quick? In that you give enough people a targeted task, that they're going to be any better or worse than the AI. How do you feel about that?
So the thing is, it's like having 20 interns and having one expert that has been in the office for more than 20 years. Just imagining that the 20 interns are going to overdo or perform better than this subject matter expert that has been in the field it's quite wishful. So this again where companies are planning, how can we do things better? How can we do things faster? If I take from your narrative, however you like putting it, AI can be this kind of subject matter expert in the office that has been there for like 20 years, and the rest will be the interns in this case. Because AI is not limited. From the training so far, the AI agents or the solutions we have in the field, they are pretty good in terms of creating solutions. I don't know. I wouldn't bet on the whole country producing anything better because they are limited by how much they know. Everybody will type something and they will all end in a certain gap of percentage. This is how much they can produce. The quality will be low. That's how it goes. You have a problem that has been troubling the whole company. Suddenly, if you hire an engineer with 20 years of experience, within the first day, they solve it. It cost you millions over the past 5 years, but somebody solved it within a week. But within the 5 years, you had people that came and go, came and left, came and left. They were equally good, but this is the opportunity. That's why I say we are in a golden era. where take advantage of AI, do wonderful things, use it in healthcare, find a very beautiful use case that our generation should be proud of in the coming years.
We're definitely in that very transformational phase right now in our lifetime. It is so exciting that we're at this cusp. I had heard and listened to another podcast that talked about this idea that we're actually in a third singularity. The
Yeah.
idea in that podcast they were talking about was when humans developed language as a way to communicate, that was one of singularity. All the things that we completely enabled to turn us as lone hunters and gatherers to become more social species. That was his first singularity. The second singularity was when we actually learned to mass spread information, and that was the printing press. When we learned to write things down, you remember back maybe the Egyptians, it was like the tablets of information,
Yeah.
but that wasn't very mass distributable. You couldn't just photocopy or make two copies of those tablets that were chisel and stone tablets. But when the printing press became I think technology that we mastered, information spread like wildfire. You can actually read something that someone wrote hundreds of years ago, or your descendants can read something that you wrote into a book at some point. So the third singularity that is being proposed is when these AI LLMs, large language models, become smart enough that they start to train themselves. And I think we're actually very close to this because even recently we've heard some AI researchers wanting to put the brakes on this research because they're saying it's going far too fast and there's no guardrails and controls put in place to ensure the safety of our species. I think there's some truth to that. But at the same time, I'm very excited about how this idea that really the LLMs is, as you point out, that it has all this information. And I kind of compare this back to my early example about giving billions of Chinese people and Indian people something, a collective objective to go and type something or on the typewriters or write something. This idea that the AI is just simply trained on billions, trillions of copies of various pieces of data on the internet, our human collective knowledge today. And through the LLM model, it uses statistics to essentially make sense of all that text that we as a human species have created over the last several centuries that's been digitized. Mind you, anything that's not digitized doesn't get captured in this knowledge with the model, right? Is it really gonna have all this knowledge to greatly exceed us? Maybe, but at the same time, part of me also thinks that because it's information built on information, until the AI actually exceeds the creativity and innovation of the human species, the AI is just merely regurgitating what the smartest person ever to live would have said. So, as a professional, do you think that the AI is going to be too far ahead of where the human mind can take us? Or will it be only as good as the smartest human that walks the earth today?
So I'll give an analogy. Say you are pushing some material on production floor. Um, you know that is your return. You push every day. You're pushing something, and say for example, the purpose is to make sure you push finished goods on whatever material tool from wherever the packaging is done to the shipping area, and that's your work. So that you will do as much as your energy or muscles can do. But now with AI, you can have a robot that is talked or given much power or configured to do 10 faster, efficient, more safely. Because, like I've seen shipping yards, I've seen that are fully operated by robots. So when you think it in that perspective, you 100% see that it is gonna overdo us in terms of productivity. In terms of another predictive analysis, I've done a little bit of machine learning. For sure, it can digest more and do analysis that we can use to make decisions. That is obvious. This is how AI works. Essentially, you train the model, then the model can do exponentially more. That's the whole purpose. So once it's fine tuned and everything is ready to go, then it will do. Now, the point is, it's obvious it's going to exceed us, but to sustain AI, we will need people over the next like 20 years, we need to put in place systems such that people keep learning the finer details, the technical understanding of how AI works, so that they can keep it in tune, keep it in shape. Number one, we talked of governance, we kept of guardrail, we kept of verification. We need to have engineers that are equally trained to take care of AI systems and not allow them to hallucinate and do crazy stuff and, protect them. But patterning productivity, for sure, the purpose of AI is to make sure that it does more than we can do.
Yeah, I think fundamentally we're debating a little bit on, can the AI exceed human innovation? I think clearly, and the AIs can exceed human intelligence. But I want to think about innovation, because innovation is not just intelligence. It's also this mix of creativity with intelligence. As a engineer, I always argue that I can always engineer my way out of a problem. Do you think that the AI can actually engineer itself out of a problem? Especially today where AI has, hopefully not too far from now, but hopefully not too soon either, as long as the AI doesn't have physical control of the world. So what I mean by that is, take for example, let's say the AI then, for some reason, becomes very smart, but the AI knows that it's about to run out of power because it doesn't have enough power to keep going, to learn more, to exceed. Is it plausible in your opinion, Zach, that the AI can now figure out a way to take over control of a bunch of robots and build a new power generation plant for itself to sustain its own existence?
Yeah, I see where you're going. Yeah, that's the one limit of AI for sure. I've seen self-driving cars that suddenly, say, a bridge somewhere has construction and they have, made a big dig, and the self-driving cars, they just come and dive in there. Like, it's not updated with the most recent. It will have cameras, but it's limited. When it comes to innovation, if it were an equation, this equation involves human input. It involves human judgment. It involves observing some things and making assessment, then making some conclusion. But AI is a tool that is there such that it's trained. Okay, this is the situation. This is the data. Then it can do more, but the ground needs to be established by a human being. Where human input is needed, you need that person to be there. Yeah. Again, for me, I think we've had a bit of a conversation. My biggest fear is that AI is going to affect how people learn, because I think there is a process of brain development, especially for young generations that are coming up. Brain development is that you teach your brain to master things, but AI can just do things for you. It can write, it can summarize, you can tell it things to do, and it can analyze and do things for you. What happens to your brain that used to do things? I'm from a place where like all the kids knew multiplication like offhand. You can even tell them 20 multiplied by 58, and they have an answer. But nowadays, multiply by 4, it's a problem, right? So now the risk is that if we get used to AI, we're going to be creative, and there is a risk we will not be able to sustain it. By the time AI is growing, our brain and ability to manage it is going down because we are becoming over reliant on it. So, such kind of a situation. But for sure, when it comes to innovation, it's limited. But again, that can be changed when we have systems in place to train it and enable it to be innovative as well, because there is that capability, especially when all aspects are put in place. When you're training a model, there is everything that is put in place, then you let it do its things.
So here's an interesting concept from your PMP background. You've run many projects in your career. Once a project starts, there's a million things that can go wrong the moment it starts, right? And this is part of exactly what a PMP does, is essentially looking for all those risks. You're looking for all the things that can deviate your project plan and delay things, make things go wrong and miss milestones, all those terrible things. Part of the idea of project management is related to survival, as a human survival. Like we are a very strong species. Well, we're an apex species. We can overcome just about any challenges in our environment to survive until you put us into an environment where we cannot survive. So dump us into the bottom of the ocean, just drown. Throw us into space. We don't have air. We can't survive. But in between this happy zone, we can survive. So we've learned to adapt to and even explore the edges of every one of those areas. We have figured out how to build the machines to protect us to dive really deep in the ocean. We figured out how to build rockets and spaceships to take us into the space. When it comes to an AI, is there an element of survival in there that forces the AI to really be able to adapt so that it can survive sort of any possible outcome? I think this kind of defines this idea of being sentient and being self aware. I think every human, whether they're smart or strong or weaker, this instinct to survive is in us. It's in our DNA. Question is from a PMP perspective, like how you have to essentially do a lot of things to ensure a project survives to meet the ultimate goal. Does this apply to an AI?
Yeah, in project management, we will talk in the sense of risk management. So, the good thing with AI, it can help with scheduling, it can help with planning, it can analyze risks because once you feed in all the data, it can tell you this this is going to collide with this, and it automatically gives you a lot of what to do. This is amazing. For me, actually, I'll have to mention, I was a subject matter expert on one of the books that Project Management Institute quota in the US released. But I was lucky to be among the reviewers or when before the book version 8 was released. AI is a game changer for project managers. Is it going to replace them? Is it going to make them better? Some jobs, some roles may be taken over by AI, but again, it will save you from doing the nitty gritties, the manual entries, the manual management to a point of where you are, verifying, checking in places, adjusting, reviewing, so that then you're releasing. That way, it makes work better. I can imagine when people are using, say, migrating from a manual wheelbarrow to a power in construction, or people that used to give rides to people, there is a time when people are using bicycles as a means of transport or motorbikes, right? So a bike rider would only take one person, and suddenly in the village or in the small town, somebody comes with a car and they're suddenly carrying 4 people at a cheaper price. What are the effects? Some people will have to resort to either taking driving lessons or buying a car so that they can join the business, or so that they can stay relevant, or be creative, find other solutions. So that is adapting to situations. And human beings are known to be very adaptive. As situations change, you learn and go, and we survive. That's our normal instincts as human beings. So I'm not worried. I'm excited about project management. I'm lucky that jumped on AI and project management right on time. So I've been involved for the past 3 to 4 years, whatever has been happening in AI space. I'm very active with the Project Management Institute, interacting with people, managers, engineers, people, experts. This is very good and relevant for me. I guess this is how I survive. This is me surviving. So yeah, I like it.
So you bring up the word adaptability, and every time I hear that, I always think about my own Scrum training. I mean, agile methodology in project management, especially software project management, is centered around transparency, inspection, and adaptability. Right, that
Yeah,
word always sticks in my mind.
yeah,
I'm actually curious because I know you're also a Scrum Master. In
yeah.
terms of traditional waterfall project management versus agile methodology, does AI seem to help or work against either methodologies? Or do you think that they're equally going to benefit from application of AI in those PM processes?
I think both can benefit. The situation with agile is that there is a lot of unpredictability. It's kind of catch and go, and it gives again the room to discover and innovate more than you had initially planned for. Normally, the problem we do is that we set our target, which can be our limit sometimes. So AI it's equally beneficial to all the changes in software development. All engineers, technical experts, software developers, they don't spend too much time. You can save that time to do something else. For all those that have a Gantt chart they follow that is very solid with deadlines and start date and end date, and for those events that are supposed to occur on the same time, you have better visibility because then you can use the analysis power of AI. I think both sides stand to benefit.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow, I can't believe this half an hour is already passed, Zach. It's such a fun conversation with you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I know we've connected in the past about various topics like this, and we can go on forever. But unfortunately, we do have to bring an end to the episode. But I really appreciate your take on how AI reflects and applies back to your arts of software development, project management. We really enjoyed this conversation, so I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Uh, if our audience wants to connect with you, what's the best way to connect with you, Zach?
Yeah, my name is Zacharie Gatare. I have a LinkedIn page. That's the best way to follow me. I have GitHub for other things, but most everything is private. So for software developers, they won't see much. But once you connect me through LinkedIn, then we can talk and we can, probably share more.
Sure, I'll make sure I include your LinkedIn link in our show notes and our posts so people can connect with you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much to everyone who's able to stick with us, and we'd love to hear your feedback and any questions you might have for myself, for Zach, or whoever, and to continue this conversation on No Lids, No Limits. So until the next episode, thank you, everyone, and thanks again, Zach.
Thank you, Tian.